Yo, what's up? Welcome to another build guide. So before I let you watch the boss clips, I will just make a quick intro. So this is gonna be a build guide for the Raider Elementalite Archer build. Elementalite is probably one of the best, maybe the best archer skill in my opinion these days. Lightning Arrow, those kind of other stuff, Ice Shot, they are also nice, but Elementalite has a better potential for a lower budget, let's say. But obviously lower budget doesn't mean 10-20 Exalt for this build, because Elementalite is probably the most expensive archer build. So make sure you have some decent currency, make sure you know how to farm currency. I advise you to start this build with at least 50 Exalt, because that is how the market prices are right now. So if you want to play a good elemental hit build, make sure you farm your currency first. I also have a melee elemental hit juggernaut build. You can also go and check that. That is cheaper, and that is melee, something different. If you want to play that, you can also go and check that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. One last thing before the videos. I also prepare two different path of building. So in the path of building section, make sure you check the talent trees and maybe the equipment. Maybe I will just add something new. So make sure you check those. My current version has more than 5k life, more than 35 million DPS. But I will just also prepare another path of building for those people who want to have a better DPS for some reason. Probably more than 50 million DPS, but a lower health pool. So if you want that, go and also check that in the path of building. And don't forget to like this video so other people also sees and watches my videos. So yeah, I'll just leave you with the clips now, and then I will be right back explaining all the stuff that I made with the build. Alright, I'm back. Let's just jump right into the item section. So first of all, the most important thing, the thing that you need to invest the most is the bow. So this is why this build is expensive. Expensive than it should be, let's say, because this is a crafted bow. If you don't know what you are doing, you have to buy this from someone else. I don't craft this kind of bow, so I won't say anything about that. Maybe if you have another, if you maybe saw a guide from somewhere else, you know, you can just go and do that. But I won't explain anything because I haven't crafted my own bow. So first of all, the most important stuff, bow attacks fire 2 additional arrows. Yeah, because while mapping, this obviously gives you clear speed, and also while bossing, this adds 2 additional projectiles to your single target DPS. So this is pretty much one of the best stats that you should get. After that, because elemental hit is kind of actually a spell build, maybe you can just make that similarity maybe. Because elemental hit has its own base damage, so if the gem has a higher level, you will have higher DPS. This is a unique skill actually. Other bow skills, not bow skills, let's say, let's give a couple of examples. Maybe something like lightning arrow, tornado shot, or ice shot. Those skills doesn't have this, but elemental hit has this stuff. So the higher gem level, the higher the DPS, obviously. That's why you need a couple of gem levels at least. So try to get at least +1 gems, or maybe +2, +1 bow gems, whatever your budget is. After the bow additional 2 arrow, obviously. After that, usual stuff. Attack speed is obviously important in this kind of builds. Maybe crit multiplier, crit chance for your bow. There are lots of examples. I cannot, put example of all of them, obviously, but you should just understand what you need basically. And finally, an open prefix for some elemental penetration. You can just put that from the bench. So in the end, to sum things up, your bow needs to have 2 additional arrows, a couple of gem levels, attack speed, penetration, crit chance, whatever you can fit in, alright, depending on your budget. So the good bows are at least 30-35 Exalt right now in Ultimatum League, and goes up to 90 Exalt, so depending on your budget. Obviously, the DPS will obviously be different, but you will just miss a couple of millions maybe. I have something like 36 million right now. If I can just lower some HP, I can easily push to 50 million. So if you have a burst bow, maybe you can go and play with 4.5k life, something like that, and still achieve more than 30 million DPS with your lower budget bow. But make sure you invest good, because bow is pretty much the most expensive, the most important piece in my opinion for this build. Quiver. Again, good quivers are expensive. They are at least 10 Exalt right now, but I will also explain how I crafted my quiver. So first of all, a spike point quiver, because it gives crit chance, is probably your best option. After that, the most important stuff are life, crit multiplier, and bow additional arrow. If you have an open prefix, or maybe your bow already has that, elemental damage with attacks, because you can also craft that from your bench yourself, but you cannot put crit multiplier, so your bow quiver must have a crit multiplier. So if you want to buy this from someone else, they are usually around 10 Exalt right now. Here is how to craft this, how I crafted this for cheaper. You can buy, or just alchemist scour if you want, a quiver with good prefix, life, additional arrow, and elemental damage with attacks. These are all 3 prefixes. If you find a quiver like that, you can just use harvest craft, if there aren't any open suffix, to use key prefix, roll suffixes. You want at least 1 open suffix. If your quiver already has an open suffix, you don't need that harvest craft, the key prefix stuff, So if your quiver has a open suffix, you then need to put prefixes cannot be changed. That's something like 2 Exalt, I believe. After that, again, harvest craft, reforge a rare item with more crit modifiers. Because you put prefixes cannot change, your life, additional arrow, and elemental damage with attacks cannot be changed. And the suffixes again will be reforged, but because you use crits are more common, you will have a high chance to get crit multiplier, crit chance, those kind of stuff. This actually took me only 1 try, so I spent less than 5 Exalt for this quiver actually. But it can be even more expensive. Or maybe you can even hit attack speed or an open suffix, because my quiver has lightning resist. If you have an open suffix, you can use Ace Link maybe, rank 4. Or just put attack speed, and that quiver will be at least 30 Exalt worth, I believe. So yeah, here is how to craft, or just buy this from someone else, yeah. So helmet, this is new, I believe, because I haven't actually noticed this helmet. This should be new, I believe. So this helmet has its own special implicit. There are actually more than 10 implicits, but this is what I picked. Skills, fire, and additional projectile. Normally there isn't any enchant for elemental hit that provides additional arrow, so this actually is very good for this build. So I noticed this and decided to play elemental hit with this helmet. I don't know if you can find any enchanted helmets, but good stuff are elemental hit attack speed, elemental hit damage maybe. Sniper mark curse effect is also nice, or maybe you can get something with blood rage attack speed or any kind of the auras buffs that we use, reserve reduction, those kind of stuff. So what this helmet does is, let's just check the other stats, because the DPS is only comes from that skills, fire, additional projectile. By the way, you don't need this helmet, you can just skip this. Play with a rare helmet, use some influences maybe, crit multiplier, those kind of stuff. Even maybe use Asenat Chant, because that is very good for elemental hit builds. But I just wanted to use this helmet because this provides both DPS, a lot of life, and also this just makes your chaos resistance 0. So normally if you don't have any chaos resist, you will have minus 60. This helmet is actually provides 60 chaos resistances by making your chaos resist 0. Also it provides a lot of life, mana, and inner shield. You don't need that inner shield, but life and mana obviously helps. Mana helps so you can level your precision even more. Life obviously gives a lot of life. Here is a fun stuff about this helmet before we continue with the other items. You can actually use Wall Orb on this helmet to delete some of the modifiers. So if your helmet doesn't have any enchant right now, maybe you bought it from someone else, you can just use maybe Wall Orbs, and if you are lucky, you will just delete that elemental what's that, global maximum energy shield. If you are lucky, because we don't use why am I saying elemental? Because we don't use energy shield, so you can, if you can delete that, you can actually remove that reduced lightning resist stuff, because this helmet actually lowers our resistances, so it is a little harder to keep our resists. So yeah, if you can just delete those stuff, maybe you can also delete mana, because you only want that life, and chaos resist is 0 actually. Mana obviously helps, but you can just skip that. But yeah, you can maybe delete that energy shield, so you can be easier to keep your lightning resist. Or just use the other helmets that I mentioned, because there are lots of options. Body armor, probably an evasion base is your best choice. Something like Zodiac leather, I believe, Zodiac garb, whatever is that, Zodiac leather I believe. Or Assassin's garb, because I picked that. Also it provides 3% move speed. Additional curse, we are using sniper mark and elemental weakness, and attacks have plus crit chance. This is actually a base crit chance, so it provides actually more than 1.45 depending on your increased crit chance from your gear and talent tree. Desperate Magit, life resist. You can just use Awakener Orb to combine Elder and Hunter if you want, but actually these are both Hunter modes, so maybe you can just, if you are lucky, you can also just craft this maybe with fossils, attack fossils, maybe something like that, or just buy it from someone else. So actually you don't need both, two different influences. That is what I use to craft this. Yeah. Gloves, Hands of High Templar, one of the easiest way to get some DPS. I like this gloves a lot, and I use it a lot on these kind of elemental attack builds, and even on impale builds. +1 maximum friend charges, because we are playing a raider. This provides a lot of DPS. Also my second curse choice, elemental weakness. If you have a curse on hit ring, maybe something with flammability, because this is a fire build obviously, elemental hit, because we are converting everything to fire. You can also use a flammability ring maybe, or elemental weakness ring, and get something else on this glove. Again, friend charge, attack speed maybe, attacks have crit, but the higher the numbers of the corruptions are, the more expensive the gloves are. So you can also use a rare gloves, because +1 maximum charges also exists on the rare gloves. But if you want also a curse, this is a very good way to get both of them at the same time for a lower price actually. Boots, Tailwind, obvious choice. I don't even have elusive boots. If you have a higher budget, just use both elusive and tailwind. But elusive only provides some movement speed, which this character doesn't even need, because this character is super fast. But elusive also provides dodge, which is very nice actually. But you just need tailwind if you have a lower budget. Other than that, movement speed, life, that's it. For enchant, damage penetrates obviously is the best choice for a couple of million more boss DPS. Amulet, Zos Blood, obvious choice for elemental hit builds because we want conversion, so we can actually convert cold and lightning elemental hit damages to fire damage, because we are also using combat focus jewels, which I'm going to show you at the talent tree section, to get rid of the cold and lightning damage, so we are only dealing fire damage. Another stuff was that some fire resist, it isn't very important, and fire penetration, because I don't need that much DPS. I just anointed Constitution, that is how I can easily push more than 5k life. If you want better DPS, you can also anoint Lava Lash. Rings, because we are using Glimpse of Chaos helmet, we actually need more resists than we should need normally, because that helmet also reduces our resist values. So if you, for example, if you need 100 resist, now maybe you need more than 100. Alright, you get the point. I'm not even gonna do the math. So you actually need more resist than you should have. You should need, you know. So that's why rings and belt are a very good way to get those resistances if you maybe miss from other pieces. But almost all my pieces have resistances, so it is not actually very hard to keep your resistance. So rings, lot of resistances, elemental damage with attacks, that is one of the best choices to get some DPS. And finally, life. Other ring is also similar, resist, element damage, attack, life. That's pretty much it. These are actually very cheap because they don't have anything special. Good ones are like 1-2 Exalt these days. Finally, a belt. Stygian wise, life, hunter bases have additional life and a lot of resistances. Finally, elemental damage with attacks. If your resists are better compared to mine, maybe you don't use that Glimpse of Chaos, I'm not sure. There are actually other influence belts, you can also maybe check those for some additional DPS, those kind of stuff. Just check the PoE database website to pick a better DPS belt if you want. If you want to use a hunter Stygian wise like this, and if the market is expensive, which is most of the times, I actually craft this myself always, and I have a guide I put maybe over a year ago because it is still the same stuff. I always craft this every league. I always have this kind of belt in my stash ready to use, you know, because it's a very popular belt. Go and watch that video, the link is always in the description, so you can just craft your own belt or even make some profit on the way. So let's take a look at the talent tree. So we are going to take a look at the talent tree that I use, but again I will just also share maybe one more talent tree here, so you can maybe play with a lower health pool but more than maybe 50 million DPS, something like that if you want. So first of all, let's take a look at the combat focus jewels because they are important. So normally elemental hit can deal 3 different elements. As you can see, added cold damage, added fire damage, added lightning damage. Whenever you hit, you will just hit with something else. You cannot repeat the same element twice in a row. But if we use combat focus jewels, this is a unique jewel for this build, and also wild strike. Elemental hit cannot choose lightning, and also there's that. Elemental hit cannot choose cold, so we just block those 2 modifiers, convert everything that we can to fire, so those base damages in the gem are actually gonna get converted to fire, so we can just focus on fire and deal more damage. So you want a combat focus Viridian jewel and put it somewhere with at least dex and 40 dex and strength combined, so this is a good place to put that Viridian jewel. And you also need Crimson jewel, at least strength, 40 strength and intelligence, so this is again a good place to put that. So make sure that these jewels are working. Alright, put these on appropriate locations. Pardon. If you just shoot in the hideout, something like that, just use your elemental hit and you will just notice that you are always shooting fire arrow, so you know that these jewels are working and ready to go. You can just get also jewels with good corruptions like penetrate, fire resist, penetrate, elemental resist. If you have a higher budget, maybe corrupted blood immunity, stuff like that. Just try to get some good corruptions on these jewels if you want to min-max this build. Other than that, let's just check the good stuff, the different stuff. Maybe you want to, you want maybe some explanation. Intuitive leap. Again, try to put some penetration if you want. This is a very good place. We are obviously a raider, so we need frenzy charges. Life, attack speed, accuracy, crit multiplier. Because we need resist thanks to Glimpse of Chaos helmet. This will also provide some resistances and also +1 maximum cold resist. So your cold resist will be higher. As you can see, we have 0 chaos resist thanks to the helmet. So we are actually tankier than most of the archer builds because most of them have -60 chaos resist. We don't actually die to chaos resist in this build, so which is very nice. Let's take a look at the jewels, cluster jewels, and rare jewels. So large cluster, because we need some leech and obviously attack speed, those kind of stuff. I picked this. It can be attack base, attack damage, or bow damage, because these modifiers exist on both jewel types. Martial prowess, attack damage, attack speed, accuracy. Feed the Fury, leech life. We don't actually need leech life because we already have that with Bloodbrinker. But this provides the best DPS. Damage while leeching, attack speed while leeching. This is both life and mana leech. So even if you don't get hit by anything, because you are leeching mana, you can actually get benefit from these stats. Fuel the fight because we need mana leech, and again attack speed and damage while leeching. So these nodes actually provides a lot of DPS, as you can see. For mediums, probably one of the... So one of them is actually different. Alright, let me just explain. So first of all, a crit base. Pressure point is one of the best ways to get some DPS because double damage is simply broken in this game. So try to get some of these maybe. Quick getaway, lot of attack speed, crit chance, and movement speed if you have dealt a crit. So Raider is already very fast. Combining this, we are way faster than we should be. But while mapping, this actually helps a lot. But maybe you can skip this and get another one of these. Alright, so let's take a look at this. So this is first of all fire damage over time multiplier base, which is doing nothing, but we need the notables. So Cremator, ignited enemies killed by your hits are destroyed. So this is actually good for mapping. This is not basically explode because this doesn't deal any damage actually, but this just delays, explode the corpses. So you don't die to any detonate effects like those spiders, in the Act 4, those guys, they explode monsters. Also porcupines. What else? I'm not sure. Maybe detonate that strong bugs effect. So if you don't want to die those, this is a very good notable. So make sure you get a Cremator, fire over time multiplier base. But we also have some DPS here. Cooked alive. Enemies ignited by you have -10 fire resist. This actually provides some decent DPS. This also provides some fire damage. So this jewel is actually good for both DPS and defense because you explode the corpses. But you can just get another one of these if you want because this is probably better, but I'm not really sure. We don't. If you can just check that, but yeah, this is pretty much what this does. If you want to avoid those porcupines, stuff like that, make sure you get one of these. Rare jewels. First of all, let's take a look at the elemental hit so you can understand better. Elemental hit has fire, cold, lightning, tags. We are also playing an archer build, so global crit multiplier also works, and also those are elementals, so elemental multiplier also works. So this means that you can put cold, fire, lightning, elemental, and global multiplier on your jewels. So global multi, fire, lightning, cold multi, and some resistance because we need that. If you actually put resistance, these kind of 4-stat jewels are not that expensive actually. They are like 1.5 Exile. Yeah, interesting. Let's take a look at the other jewel and then I will show you the Watcher's Eye. As you can see, I forgot to delete the price. Only 1.5 Exalt, a 4-stat jewel. Multiplier, fire multiplier, lightning multiplier. So you get the idea. Finally, a Watcher's Eye. If you have a budget, you can get a double one. The best stats are penetration, affected by anger, fire penetration. Crit multiplier, anger. Precision crit multiplier. Precision attack damage, maybe precision attack speed. So if you want to combine 2 separate modifiers, make sure you get penetration and put something else. If you want to play with only one modifier, again put penetration because penetration is way better for bosses. So yeah, those are the possible combinations. Let me just check if there are anything else. Again, I will also prepare another 3 here. Probably lower than 5k health, but more than 45-50 million DPS. I will try to do that. if you want. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's take a look at the Pantheons and finish what we are doing. I most of the time use Lunaris while mapping, avoid projectiles, dodge attack and spell it if you have been hit recently, and some other stuff. You can also use Solaris if you want, this is maybe better. You're also immune to crit damage after you get crit once, so this is also nice if you want. I don't think Arakali is good because we are already immune to all ailments, so shock isn't an issue for this build. And also we have 0 chaos resist, so we are actually tanky against chaos damage compared to most of the other builds, let's say. For miner, Aberrat is good if you want to be unaffected by burning ground. If you are farming Harbingers, this is actually very important. Other than that, maybe you can get Ralakesh, cannot be blinded, cannot be mained, which is nice. Also, reduce physical damage over time taken while moving. This actually works for Blood Rage. Yeah, where's that Blood Rage? Yeah, because Blood Rage provides a lot of attack speed, a lot of DPS, we want to use this. By the way, we forgot to take a look at the gems. Let's take a look at them real quick. So yeah. So we have two separate setups. One is a body armor 16, one is a bow 16. Because our bow has additional gem levels, we want our single target in our bow actually. Elemental hit with barrage support, so it is for bossing obviously. Inspiration for some elemental damage. Animalus provides additional crit chance, so you can also get that. Just a little DPS, you know. You can just min-max it later. Hypothermia because we are using Skitterbot, so they are actually chilling. Ele focus and ele damage with attacks. On our clear setup, ele hit, Mirage Archer, that's the yellow archer that is on our head pretty much, and shoots automatically, which is very nice for clear. Other special stuff, these are same. You want chain, if you have budget, Awaken chain, but even with normal chain, the clear speed is insane because elemental is just broken in my opinion. Probably one of the best archer skills these days. But lightning arrow is probably have a better clear speed, but elemental is also very good. Finally, combustion. Combustion provides minus 20 resist to the enemy. So on boss fight, you need to actually hit once or twice with your normal ele hit first. So you can just ignite the target. Your Mirage Archer will also keep attacking, so you can ignite even faster, probably. Because combustion provides millions of DPS. Because on our main setup we have elemental focus, so we cannot ignite. We don't want to use combustion. This provides more DPS. Make sure you ignite the target with your clear setup with combustion attached, so your main setup will have a better boss DPS. Dash, mobile skill, second wind for additional cooldown. Cast when damage taken, immortal call for some defense. Sniper mark, you also want to cast this on bosses. Other curse is on our gloves, elemental weakness. Again, you can also maybe use a flammability on your rings, maybe something like that. Sniper mark, enhance is very good in this setup because Blood Rage also has additional attack speed on the quality. So using enhance actually provides millions of DPS. Also it provides because it also increases sniper mark's effect. 5% increased projectile hits. Can we see this here? It is actually added, so I'm not sure how much it provides. So yeah, enhance is very good. Even at 3 level provides millions, so try to get an enhance also. Buffs finally. Precision, to keep your accuracy easier, also crit chance. We don't even need a 4 level enlighten, you can get that, but I played with a level 3. Skitterbot, chill and shock enemies. Elemental hit also deals more damage per ailment on the enemy. Read the bottom text. 10% more damage per elemental ailment on the enemy. So Skitterbolt also provides that, plus shock, something like 17% I believe, so a lot of DPS. Divergent is also nice, but you can also go something like this, 21 normal. Just check the DPS, 36.5 with the Divergent, because I'm not sure if you can corrupt it. This actually is better, but only 200k DPS, nothing that special. And normal one with 21 is actually way cheaper, so you can just play like this. And Anger, because this is a fire build. That's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and click like, so other people also sees and plays this build, because this is very fun. One of the best archers. Raider is so much fun these days after the buffs. Because if you don't know, this is actually better these days, because the other exposures are actually got nerfed. So this provides more stuff, more DPS these days. And also she is tankier compared to Deadeye in my opinion, so Raider these days. She's in a very good position. Thanks for watching and I will see you next time.